I believe there's like 17, something like that, 15, 17 head bolts we're dealing with here. So far as I'm concerned, I like the amount of torque on 2 of them. Let's go take a look. Welcome back to the channel. It's a couple days after the bad news on the Chrysler Saratoga and the 383, and I just learned doing a little research on the interwebs. And yeah, at 59 and 60, there was a taller deck 383 built only for those 2 years. So that's what we're working with here. So we have started to, well, we're continuing our investigation as to, you know, what could be letting coolant into the oil in this engine. And so far, we've popped off the valve covers, took the generator off, and we've taken the rocker shafts off of both sides and all of the push rods out. So this thing was running with oil in it. It's not, we know for sure now because of the way this is under here, that at least the last time or two this thing was ran, it was ingesting coolant in the oil and circulating throughout. Had the engine block cracked or a head cracked in storage because it froze or something like that and leaked coolant down into the oil, it would not, we would not see it up here on the top of the cylinder heads. This had to have been circulated through the oil to get up here. It's still got little pools. It's trying to separate, but it's still milky. And then you can also see that it has started to make a little surface rust here and there. Otherwise, pretty clean though. It just looks bad. The other side's the same. But you know, I've said in previous videos about rescuing cars and stuff that, you know, things aren't always as they appear. And we've been really lucky, especially with our rescues. We've really only been skunked one time where I thought, you know, this little engine's gonna run without too much trouble. And now that same experience can happen on the flip side. And I'm gonna walk over to the car here because Jalen noticed this even before I did. We've got what looks like hardware store bolts, grade 5-ish, holding the intake on. And these are not factory style washers. These are some sort of a grade 8 flat washer, thick washer. And then back here on the China wall for the valley gasket, you see, I'll point this out to you. We've got a dished bolt here, a factory style bolt, another one here, right there, and then this is a different bolt. It doesn't have the dish. This is some sort of a, you know, junk drawer bolt. On the front, we've got all 3 of the bolts are factory and have that dish or ridge to them on the top. And then same thing over here. We've got, you know, hardware store. It looks like bolts holding the intake on. So that was a little curious to us. And you know, we could have had the intake off, this or that, the other. That valley pan though, that could also just be the intake. It could mean though that somebody's been in this engine. And then I lost my micro SD card, but we took the little bore scope and took some pictures inside, and I swear that one of the pistons was clean enough where in the center of the top of the piston, I think it was pretty clearly said 0.040, which means, indicates the engine's been rebuilt and honed out, bored out, and put back together. Now, talk to the customer. Customer understands water in the oil. It's an issue. We're still investigating. It's going to need some surgery of some sort. And he's going to check with his father, who is the owner of this car, and yeah, verify or try to figure out why the engine's been down, if it has been, what for, what kind of mechanical stuff has been done to it. The odometer shows 20,000 miles, so I don't know what's going on. But then this morning we pulled the rocker shafts and pull the push rods. And here's what we found. This is passenger side, back to front. You don't really have to keep them like this, but I want to just because I'm still investigating. So these are all same. And then we have this guy. Yeah, that's a new push rod, newer than all these others. So let's go then to the driver's side. And these are just as I pulled them out, back to front, same. And then cylinder number 1 has 2 push rods that are newer than the rest of them. Something's going on. Something's happened to this engine to the effect that push rods have had to been changed. The really good feelings are starting to turn into questionable feelings about, you know, was there a problem machining either ahead? Did we try to port something? Did we take too much material off somewhere and either crack something or get into a coolant passage somewhere, either in the block or in one of the heads? So we won't know, unfortunately, until we at least get the heads off of this thing. All right, here's a little update for you. We got the intake off. You know, nothing obvious in here, guys. It's oil and water mixture. Now on these big block Mopars, we did drain the coolant just because, but we don't have on the 383, 440, 429. We do not have coolant going across head to head through the intake. No coolant flows from here to here. So the intake gasket going, and even if it went out on this engine, it would not cause a coolant leak. Now the other thing is on the Mopar, we have, like I said earlier, we removed our rocker shaft. That bolts along here. There are 5 pedestals, and oil gets to the rockers through this hole and this hole. And then internally in the shaft, it goes through and oils down the top of the push rods, the rocker arms themselves, and all that good stuff. And then as far as drain back, you're looking at it. You just have big valleys in between each intake runner, and all the oil just drains back down through here. So what that means is we've got some limited areas that we're going to be looking at on our head gasket that would enable coolant to get into the oil, but not necessarily compromise compression. So that's going to be this area right here and this area right here on either side. Alrighty, exhaust manifolds are off. Wasn't too bad. And now we're on to, you know, pulling the actual heads. Now we're going to break all these head bolts loose by hand. And we do that because we want to know if there's some discrepancies. And I'll tell you one slight discrepancy already. And it's on the passenger side, not the driver's. But we talked about the bolt situation. And I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not. And my light just went out. Let me get another light and I'll show you. Notice all these bolts down here. They've got an indented circle and, you know, some embossing. There's an X and there's a number or something. Those are all the same. You get up to the second row here in the inside of the valve cover, underneath the valve cover, we're same. And then our top row, we've got one more of those right here, this guy. And then we go to hardware store, or at least a different, you know, impression on the bolt. Now, on the driver's side, we've got the impression circle on the bottom row and all the middle row, and then all the top row has, I'll call it the star markings, like the grade 8, just, you know, finger markings, whatever you want to call it. So again, somebody's had this apart, and okay, so push rods being new, could have had a damaged push rod, could have bent some push rods if it stuck or something. I've done that. We did it on the Rambler wagon when we got that engine working. I probably bent a push rod the first time we tried to start it. But anywho, go watch that video. Anyway, I am pretty attentive to detail, and I like to make sure at the end of a project that all the bolts went where they came from, and I don't have a lot of stuff sitting in the tray left over. And if I do have stuff left over, it's because I purposely replaced that item. So I'm getting a little bit of a concern in my belly about how attentive to the process the person who had this engine apart and then bad lighting and then put it back together, how that was, did they lose, or is there literally a screw loose somewhere, aka head bolt? I don't know. We're going to find that out right now. Now, I don't know the exact torque sequence for the heads, but it should be pretty much inside out. So we're going to start, whoopsie, right here. These are 11/16 headed bolts. That could have been a lot tighter. I'm going to guess, oh golly, maybe 30 pounds of torque on that thing. Same thing with here. Oopsie, what did I do? Roll off of that sucker? There. Oh, here we got some. That one might have gotten torqued. But so far, I'm going to say, and I don't know what the spec is, so they're 7/16 bolts. I would expect, I don't know, 50, 60 pounds at least. Now, other than that first couple in the middle, there's one. That's torque. That's what we're looking for right there. Now let's jump. Get off of there. Jump back here. Yeah, these are light too. They gotta be light. I'll look up the spec here in a minute, but these gotta be light. It's just taking nothing to get them to break loose. Yeah, I don't like it. That one's decent. So I believe there's like 17, something like that, 15, 17 head bolts we're dealing with here. So far as I'm concerned, I liked the amount of torque on 2 of them. Oh gosh, that one was nothing. And I got this guy back here. And I think, jeez Louise. Okay. They're all broken loose now. You guys, this one in the center. Is this one down here broke loose? I think I did, but nope, I didn't yet. Okay. That one's light too. Gosh darn it. We're talking, can't be more than 30, 40 pounds. Head bolts gotta be more than that, don't they? Okay. We're gonna zip these the rest of the way out, and then we'll come back and we pull this head. Okay, head bolts are zipped out. One thing I'm going to tell you, this thing it's had engine work and it's had it fairly recent. These bolts are super clean. All of them are. The top row of bolts, other than the heads that have been in the elements, they're super duper clean. So this thing has had the heads off, it's had engine work, whatever. Anyway, and there's a little bit of anti-seize on them, but no indication that they were oiled or lubricated. And yeah, I'm just not happy about what I felt was the torque. So now, anyway, we're gonna wrangle this thing out of here, and that's the cool thing about big block Mopars. The other cool thing, number one, is they don't have coolant flowing through the intake. Number two is you can take the heads off without pulling the distributor out and the front of the engine apart too far. So that's what we're going to try to do right now. We're going to try to lift up and kind of come through here. And I really don't want to damage this head gasket, because I want to see what it tells us. Okay, it's at least stuck down. We're going to pop the front, I think, first. If we can, right through here maybe. There it goes. I don't know. We'll see. Now, can I lift this hog off of here without damaging the head gasket? Come on. There. Oh, there went some coolant. That was holding some anyway. Now, up and out of here. Let's go. If I go up on the China wall. I gotta move my hand. What am I stuck on? Gosh darn it. Coolant, or yeah, power steering hose. And then wiring. Let's go. Oh, and the gasket is buckled underneath there, but that's okay. We're getting it. Oh. I'll bring you to the bench here in a minute. Okay, I couldn't help it. I looked it up. 70 foot-pounds. I know we did not have that on the majority of the bolts on the other side. So we're on the we're going to do the passenger side now. I'm going to bring you along again, because I'm going to put the torque wrench this time on them. And let's just see if it clicks or not. And this torque wrench is about the same length as my breaker bar. They broke loose before my torque wrench went. So did that one. So did that one. That one wasn't even close. Not even close. Oh my goodness, you guys. Nope, that wasn't the torque wrench. That was just the bolt breaking loose. These are not maybe half what they should be. Maybe. Oh boy, oh boy. It's no wonder. It's no wonder we got coolant everywhere. I'm surprised we didn't blow a head gasket. Probably because the thing just hadn't been run that much since whoever did this last bit of work. The thing probably doesn't have 15 miles on it. There's one that's pretty tight, but Not a single click in the torque wrench at 70. And they should have been torqued at about 50, 55, center out, you know, circular center out both ways at the same time, and then to 70, and then a warm up, and then re-torque, or at least a torque check. So they're all broke loose. Let me get this off, let me get this head off, and then I'm going to show you the head gasket impressions, and you're just going to go bonkers. Alrighty, let's talk gaskets, head gaskets. Here, and I'm trying to leave this unmolested. I blew out the cylinders because I don't like leaving coolant lay in the cylinders. But here you can tell it's the lighting. But look at this area right here. See how clean that is compared to the rest. And then we've got a little bit of gasket material here and here and around these bolts kind of in the middle, but the rest of it didn't hardly stick at all. We don't have, I mean, I think this was a Philpro gasket, but we don't even see blue, you know, but a little bit there by that big water jacket and a little bit around here, but it just, especially right here, we just had very little going on, I think. And same story on, that was passenger side, on the driver's side. Almost exact same story. Look at this, I'm trying to get the light so it shows up best for you. Right here. Does that work? No, that doesn't work. If I go way back here, there you go. See how dark that is? That's the gasket. And then look how light it is. That's clean metal. In between the cylinders, we don't have a real gasket impression or any kind of indication. I mean, I'm kind of surprised that we were doing as well as we were in the compression, you know, testing. But it's just not good. So we definitely have head gasket tightening issues, and I've torqued millions of bolts, and I'm going to tell you, in my estimations, the tightest bolt out of both of these cylinders heads was maybe 45 to 50, and that was maybe 2 or 3 total, and then it went downhill fast. Most of them were in the 20 to 30 pound range, and again, they're supposed to go in 2 stages up to 70. So on the head side, we just peeled off. My customer just stopped by, and you see the same thing. See up here, this area here, the tip of my light, that's bare, you know, machined metal. You don't get any of the blue inking from the cylinder head gasket at all in that center. And then it's pretty okay here. That bolt must have been pretty tight. Around the edge here, we're loose. Down here in this area right here, we might have been a little tight, but we're loose here, we're loose here, we're loose here. It's just loose. Okay, so yeah, this gasket's still on. And let's go ahead and get you some live action here. We'll try to peel this off and see what it tells us. This one, I showed the customer the passenger side while he was here, but it was in these sections here. It was, you could tap on the gasket. It wasn't even sticking to the cylinder head anymore, and not because I pulled it up with any kind of force, just because it was never really stuck to the cylinder head. So again, just like on the car, we've got this shiny spot here where the gasket's really not doing a whole lot of anything. And then not too bad here, around over here. We're light here. We look good there, but then light here, and it's the same story. We're just, I mean, nowhere. I mean, we've got a little bit of gasket material here, 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 and here. But normally you'd be scraping gasket material off of the entirety of this, and the same way with the block over in the car, and we're just not tight enough. That's all there is to it. So we'll clean this up in the morning, run a straight edge and a feeler gauge, and make a determination if we think the heads need resurfaced. Now they're cast iron heads, so hopefully they didn't move around and make a wavy wave too much on us. Okay, next day alert. Let's get you in here. We've got the gasket surface on the heads cleaned up, and we're going to straight edge check. Now we've already checked this one. It's the driver's side. It checks out okay. I'm going to magnetize you guys to that one, and we're going to come over here, take our known straight edge, and here's how I do this. Now some people say 2 thou. I go with 3 thousandths on the feeler gauge, and we'll just slap this down on here, and we'll run along. We can't get under there, here, slide over here because my flat isn't that long. We're good there. Come down here a little further. We're good there. Come down right to these bolt holes. Whoops. And then finally we'll do this, the exhaust flange here. And even here we don't have any discrepancy. Now the second part I like to do, and I don't know if everybody does this or not, we'll go vertical just because we can, and we'll check, especially in between these cylinders, to make sure we don't have a valley here. I'm pretty happy with that. Passes my test. So no machine work on the cylinders heads. That's a good thing. Now the other thing we found, and we kind of re-looked at stuff this morning, and so we've got this theory on this engine that it's been in storage. They've gone out, they've started it, driven it around a little bit, put it back in storage, and the head gaskets were never properly torqued. And then we also know that out of the 16 push rods, 3 of them have previously been replaced, this guy and these 2. Well, we took a closer look at what we have today, and look here, see the gap narrows down there and then comes back open here. We've got to check these push rods. We've got some bender. This one's really bent. I don't know how we didn't see this yesterday, but so we're going to go about checking these, you know, the old-fashioned kind of generic way. And I'm just going to give you 2 examples, and then I'll go through the rest. But what I like to do, well, number one, you can roll them on a flat surface and just kind of eyeball them. That one looks pretty good. This one doesn't look pretty good, so that's pretty obvious. Now I'm going to take this one here, roll it. It looks pretty good as well. Foreshadowing. Now here's the other way we can do this, is we chuck this up, move you up just a little bit, chuck this up in the drill just lightly, and then we'll spin her. And if we can support the end like that and it's not wobbling, life will be pretty good. And not lifting on it, just supporting that end, because we do have a long shaft here. So we like that one. And then we'll show you the one that we've already really seen bent by rolling it. Here's the other one. And there's no way you're going to put a little pressure on that and support it. That one for sure is going away. Well, this is the one that we rolled and looked okay to the naked eye. Let's chuck him up. Got a little bit of a bend there, so we'll probably replace on that one. So this morning was mixed with some good news and some bad news. The good news is the heads are straight and true. We're not going to take them to the machine shop. I'm headed there after lunch with the exhaust manifolds, and then they might have some push rods. Otherwise we'll get on the rock hard auto also right after lunch, and hopefully they'll make it here at about the same time as the rest of our parts, and by the end of the week we'll be going back together with this. So thanks for watching this one. We're going to end it here. The next video will be putting the top end of this raised block 383 back together, and then maybe we'll get to do a first start on the 59 Chrysler Saratoga. Thanks for watching this one. Click like, subscribe, watch all the other ones, and we'll catch you on the next video.